We are live. Welcome to the SEO news for week 25, which was last week. I've gathered all the news together in a Google Sheet. My name is Frederick Drost. We have Linus as well. We both work at Precies Digital. And yeah, we're going to go through some SEO and AI news today. First up, Screaming Frog has published a new tutorial. And if you watched the video last week, they came out with a new update with a bunch of cool things, including semantically similar pages. So I think what they're doing is chunkifying content on pages, embeddings, trying to then, I guess, cosine similarity or some sort of deal, and finding pages that are similar, which is great for duplication, internal links, and I think they're just publishing these guides after. So just a great read from a great tool. So if you have Screaming Frog, have a look. And then we've got the AI mode data coming into Search Console. And this one is a little bit more granular than AI overviews. So for a reminder for everyone, if you're looking in Search Console, you will get impressions and click from AI overviews. But they're all just one position when it's AI overviews. So it's all just 0 or 1, which is not very smart. And you can't really filter it, so you can't really see if it's good or bad. With AI mode, you do get position data. So a little bit more granular, but you're still not really sure if it's AI mode. But people are running tests like exclusive tests where they're just checking AI mode on a specific website. And so a lot of people are doing a great job at this. So yeah, just worth knowing that in Search Console, you'll be able to see position in AI mode, getting the clicks, impressions, and hopefully we'll get a bit more filtering in the future. Let's see. This one here. So Ahref has done a nice little study here. They also came out and said that they have a higher conversion rate from LLMs. And I think in this case, it was huge increase. Was it 12 or 25% higher?
I think 22 or something. But yeah, 23 conversion, 23 times the conversion rate.
Yeah, so quite good. And actually, because I was comparing to, so I have client data on that too. I thought, well, let me check how it looks for some of our clients. And it's on average, what I've seen is 0.5% point increase in conversion rate, which actually corresponds to that. So going from 0.1.09 to 0.69 or 59, that's actually a higher increase than Ahref when I think about it now. Yeah. So the question is, I've written down here, like, is it only for B2B companies or e-commerce? It seems like it's across the board. So is it a priority still to optimize for LLMs compared to classic SEO? That's the question we still have to ask. How much of the share is there, right? But it's definitely working well. I think people tend to trust it for some things, like the product comparison, and then getting some. I've been testing out ChatGPT for product comparisons for furniture, and it's good. It's doing a pretty good job. So it's just really, are you visible? Can it fetch the URL content live? It gave me live prices. It showed discounts that were recent. So if you're not visible that way, you need all those AI crawlers to be able to access your site. Those are kind of the basics. And then back to 90% good SEO.
Yeah. I think with this, the most important thing is not necessarily do we need AIO, like, or will SEO work enough? It's just what this shows is that even though it drives only 0.5% of traffic, it's still more than 10%. It was 12% of signups for the entire Ahrefs website came through the LLMs, even though it's just 0.5% of the traffic.
Yeah.
Like, and I think with that, it's like, I think the line has often been when discussing with, I don't know, the broader business and clients, etc. Like, it's still a small part of traffic, but apparently it's not a small part of the conversions anymore.
Yep. I think it's hyper focused. Like people on chatbots, they go through all the funnel steps themselves, and then so they're more likely to convert. And I guess that can kind of relate to AI overviews a little bit in AI mode. So I think you're spot on the money, and we need to, for each client, do this analysis and see how much in percent comes in, and then we can prioritize accordingly. That's what we've been doing for years anyway as SEO. So yeah, everyone listening, do that. Let's see here. And yeah, it also feels like it depends. I've seen a lot. It depends on niches. So some e-commerces, people just love referrals from LLMs, and other niches, I feel like there's not people just don't care. I've seen some like sectors like tools. If you want to buy tools, it seems like people are not using chatbots as much. Maybe
Mm.
it's an older audience. You know, I don't think 22-year-olds are interested in hammers and expensive tools. They don't even have gardens or can afford it. So I think that their age has a thing. If you're targeting older people, they're relying more on Google Classic search. They might ignore AI. Like, no, just give me the tool. So yeah. Another cool. Wait, let me see. Let me show this on video as well. So it's Ahrefs again, looking at websites and mentions in LLMs here. We've got ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google AI reviews, and only seven websites overlap among the top 50 cited in sources like Google AI Overview, ChatGPT, Perplexity. So a big study here, and really, really cool. I really like that they show the differences between AI overviews, ChatGPT, and where they're leaning from in terms of sources. So have a look at this. I'm not going to go too much into detail. But I love the publishers and non-Google media is ChatGPT. Perplexity is very broad. And then, of course, Google AI reviews is top sites. So, relying on its own data, which makes a lot of sense. So really interesting. And again, I think 2 weeks ago, I restructured my my SEO news sheet so that anything related to AI mode or AI reviews is just now it's just under SEO. I feel that there's a big gap between LLMs and AI features in Google. So I've kind of separated those out. So have a read. Very good. This is a must read from Ahrefs. Definitely cool stuff. And how do you do content marketing as a B2B company? That's how you do it. Good, unique analysis, good content. That's perfect. Lily Ray is figuring out which AI search tools are most gullible. And again, she's a big critique. She's criticizing a lot of AI reviews and the quality, and she's completely right to do so. It is a very negative angle, but that's how you kind of get forward with making these products better. So I really liked this one as well because she was basically making a fake post, satiric post. And first of all, there will be a new era of spam because it's so easy to do. And I also like that Perplexity and Claude were cautious. They were perhaps not figuring it. They were saying it's not a reliable source. And also ChatGPT said it was whimsical. So they might actually be like, wait, this might be satirical. They might pick up on that. So I feel like Google is the worst here. They're just not doing a good enough job yet.
Yeah.
This one is really interesting. From July the 10th, which was 13 days ago, apparently Instagram content will automatically be available for indexing by search engines. Now, I've seen Instagram before in Google, but very rarely. So this might be a big thing. And the people on Twitter, they were saying, oh, well, another spam tactic for SEO. It's like just create posts with content descriptions. And I'm going to follow along. I'm going to see how it works because what I've been doing on my personal site is kind of summarizing my reviews on Instagram. And I would like to see how they appear. I don't mind this at all. But yeah, if it becomes a spam place where people will start using it, it's just, back to basics again. Oh yeah, and Aleda as well have a good analysis here on prompts and traffic from LLMs. And again, she speaks about how it uses, like it takes your content and kind of creates chunks and embeddings of those chunks. And so the big difference between us before we create a page and it targets a certain set of keywords, and now one page, like a section of a page, can target a long tail search in an AI engine like ChatGPT. And so the way we need to structure content has to differ a little bit. And she updated her checklist. She has a pretty solid checklist. I must admit, we have a LLM AI visibility checklist, and I feel it's a little more detailed and better than hers, but she's definitely focusing a lot on specific content and like on page. So I'm updating it based on that. She's got great examples, and not something I'll be sharing here. Obviously, you can talk to Precis if you want to get an AI visibility audit or anything, but her checklist is still quite good. So yeah, I've seen it's even more important now to remove fluff. And I have seen websites that just has so much fluff still, like on their content. It's just fluff, 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 and nobody likes that. Not even Google, not chatbots. So yeah, that's even more important now to figure out, clean up the site.
Yep.
Ooh. And I don't know if I've been saying this on video. I must have, but this is.
I'm pretty sure you have.
Yeah, that lawsuits will be coming, and this is perhaps the first AI overviews lawsuit that has been sparked by inaccurate information. More specifically, it's a solar company, and some AI overview said they were being sued, although that wasn't true, and they lost a lot of contracts worth a lot of money because of it. And this is a completely warranted lawsuit. And it's under defamation law. And I know it's a little bit different in US and stuff, but still, this might spark Google to really be careful, maybe pull back AI overviews. They can't control it. And I think with chatbots, people, because it's ChatGPT, they specifically say, okay, it can't be inaccurate or etc. But once you become a publisher, which is what Google is by publishing an answer, you have to take the liability and risk of a publisher as well. Now, is ChatGPT doing that as well? Are they even a publisher? Or people? I don't think people are using it and go, okay, ChatGPT said this, so I'm not gonna sign a contract. They will double check that in Google. So Google has a lot more trust with people. But then they show this AI overview answer, and so people are, I think people are more likely to trust Google because it's just in Google, and that's the issue here. So yeah, let's see how that goes. I'll follow along. Hope Google loses. Weirdly enough. All right, we've got Google has updated their documentation and help guide on URL structure. Again, something I get a lot of questions from clients. Oh, my URL structure, and what should it be? Well, it should reflect the hierarchy of your website, but it's not as important, right? But I feel like here they've added a lot more things, so this is quite interesting. They talked about like UTM encoding, session IDs and stuff, so it's just good that they're updating that. Everyone should have a read. It should be. Yeah, I'll put it as a must read. Why not? And then this one as well, I think is really interesting. So John Mueller confirmed that larger, long-lasting SEO issues take longer to recover from in search. Something that I've never really had confirmation about, but always in my back of my mind, like it kind of must be true. And this kind of confirms it. So it just helps setting expectations. If we get a website that has had a big issue for a long time, well, this is now the time period for the fix as well. Or at least not fixing it, but then getting the recovery. Nice to hear it from him. Ahref also found that brand visibility in Google AI Overview strongly correlates with brand web mentions. So these web mentions, again, this is just going back to the Ahref stuff here. It's just there's so many things from this study that's been published. The correlation score was high, and again, brand web mentions, where they're mentioned, the topics. We're entering a phase where, first of all, if you've had a lot of mentions and complained about it because there weren't links, well, now you're going to benefit from them. But also, is digital PR and healthy digital PR going to be a thing? People are going to start selling mentions as well. It's going to be, we can sell a backlink and a mention, or both. And is backlink not a mention? Well, I guess so. Like if I just get a link, but if the link is in like a context, and that's technically a mention too. So, I think it's just that the AI engines don't see the linking between the pages as a factor. They just see the page and the mention and kind of correlates it that way. So very interesting how that will switch the digital PR landscape. Maybe links will be worthless. Let's
Probably
see.
not, but not as important, probably.
Well, I feel like it's been easier for me to get, it would be easier for me and my personal website, for example, to get a mention, because I can create some value and we can do something together and get a mention. And the moment I mention link, they're like, no, we won't link. So I feel like there's going to be a phase where it might be easier to get mentions before people catching up and saying, wait, my mentions are also valuable, so we'll see.
Yep.
And then remember, in the last video that we did before, we talked about how Google was translating content from pages like on people's website and then hosting it on Translate, the subdomain, translate.google.com, and just kind of stealing your traffic at that point. It was apparently a bug or an issue. They came out and said, oh, we fixed it. So was that an oopsie, like let's try this and everyone complained? Or
it was definitely a bug.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
100% a bug.
Yeah, I don't see how that would be a good idea from Google's perspective either.
Nope.
And they're not making money off it. And if they can't make money, they shouldn't do it. They won't do it. That's the Google way. So, okay. So, yeah, we won't see that issue anymore. But Google is still rewarding. Let's go back to that. I know it's not part of this news specifically, but I want to remind people that Google is still rewarding Reddit for auto-translating a lot of pages. So Google seems to be fine with it. It's updated some of its policies, which means we're being more flexible regarding translation projects for clients, where we're saying, well, we can use AI to translate. And of course, we need some oversight, but we can use less oversight now. I think we're at this stage where the quality of the translations are coming out really good, and there's just so much. It's the hard part is localizing content. So making sure it is like if you're writing about law, you can't just translate, right? Each law, each country makes sense. But recipes, there might be very few minor changes you need to do. And even AIs can actually take that into account. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, that's it for the news today. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Linus, for joining. If you liked it, then like the video, subscribe, please. Every week we do one of these videos. So yeah, if you want to keep ahead of the AI and SEO world, just subscribe. Otherwise, have a great day, and I'll see everyone next week.
Ciao, ciao.